What's up, everybody? MSD here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. I want to start off this little Quicksilver guide that I'm making with a Realm of Legends fight, just showing the hand movements when I use Quicksilver, so it's easier to understand, when to finish combos, how to recognize what combo you're doing. So I play Quicksilver just like any other character, but his inflated combo meteor makes it difficult to register when he's performing what attack. So he has double mediums. His first medium is a high kick, followed by 2 low kicks. And then he has 3 hit light attacks. So that was a 12-hit combo right there. So medium, light, 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 medium. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I know that counting it out loud doesn't exactly help. It kind of makes it more complicated. But I assure you, he's not as difficult to play as it seems. Once you start to get into his rotation and the damage cycle that you're trying to achieve, it becomes a little more difficult, but that's because it's more strategy at that point rather than how to actually use him. His combo is the same as every other character. It just takes a little longer. So I hope that the hand movements here are helping to see that he's not too bad. I'm not going for a perfect rotation here. I'm just showing off his combo. So we'll go for a special 2 here. Cancel into the first. I was paying attention to the screen, not the actual game, because I'm watching this back while I'm recording it. But there you go. And that should kill. Yeah, so just a quick little showcase of the combo specifically. I had people asking about it, so I wanted to show that off to start the guide. So hopefully now you have a better idea of his combo and how I was moving my thumbs to perform the combo. And yeah, let's move on to the rest of the video.
What's up, everybody? I hope you enjoyed that little hand cam guide. I did something similar with Kate Bishop and people seem to like it, so I hope the Quicksilver guide is as effective. This is going to be the introduction to Quicksilver's utility. I'll get into the damage rotations a little bit later, but I just want to show off all of Quicksilver's utility, all the tools and tricks that are up his sleeve. So to start, we can talk about his Awakened ability. It increases the duration of terminal velocity as well as increases the max stacks of his withers by 3. I would say the withers in Quicksilver's kit are strong. I'm not going to showcase them in this video because there are other characters that have better ability power rate control. But for characters like Mangog, Doctor Strange, Spidey Supreme, Quicksilver's withers can come in handy to just prevent that ability power rate and not have to worry about it until the withers fall off, which is unlikely because the upkeep is fairly simple as long as the opponent is bouncing between power thresholds or continuously being drained to 0 power. So, as well, when 60 stacks or more of Whiplash expire, inflict a stun debuff for 5 seconds. This really only matters when you're doing longer rotations, and we'll get into that and how to use the stun with those longer rotations. And then the combat power rate decrease is also very handy for the stun from the 60 Whiplash detonate. But again, that only matters for medium to long fight rotations. So let's get into his utility. He has a nice evade, which comes into play with his momentum. It's annoying on defense. Of course, we've all been there fighting Quicksilver. He evades, yada yada. And then Whiplash, as I mentioned, is his main source of damage. It's a physical damage when it expires, as it says right there. He has a 50% chance to inflict a whiplash debuff when he evades, which is good for defense, but it also comes in handy on offense. You can utilize his evade to your advantage by dashing into certain special attacks and getting the guaranteed evade. And then on his base, he has a 35% chance to inflict whiplash debuffs. Now, here we go. Meat and potatoes, momentum. Dodging back grants 12 momentum, and basic hits grant 1 momentum. I do want to say, before we get into it, heavy attacks. For 20 seconds after you use a heavy attack, you gain a double momentum icon, like a momentum increase icon. And for 20 seconds, you gain double momentum. So instead of gaining 12 from a dash back, you're going to gain 24. Instead of gaining 1 from a hit, you're going to gain 2. The heavy attack is essential for his longer rotations, as well as getting near immediate access to a lot of his low momentum utility. So, as a defender, we don't need to worry about him as a defender, because this is about using him as an attacker. So, momentum. Every 100 charges reduces evade cooldown by 1 second. That's good, it's useful, not super needed, but it is something that can come into play a little bit with certain tricky special attacks. Here's where it really matters though, and you're going to see clips on the screen as I talk about this. At 300 momentum, Quicksilver cannot miss, and he inflicts a permanent slow debuff. The slow will only expire once all of your momentum has fallen off, in which case terminal velocity has expired and you start back at 0. But once you get to 300 momentum, you cannot miss, and you inflict a slow debuff, which prevents evade and unstoppable. So right away, you're countering miss, unstoppable, and evade. Unbelievably powerful utility for what is essentially 10 or 15 seconds of dashing back after a heavy attack, and you have that for a long time. And if you play it properly, you can utilize the utility by not gaining more momentum and keeping it for longer than you normally would. So that's also something to consider. But at 300 charges, that's when things really start to get spicy. At 600 charges, he can trigger the parry mastery against non-contact attacks, and his evadability accuracy cannot be reduced. So things like True Strike or any type of concussion will not reduce his chance to evade, as well as being able to parry non-contact attacks. What comes to mind and what you're seeing on the screen, Shuri, very helpful for Shuri, very helpful for Maw, very helpful for Iron Man Infinity War, any character with non-contact attacks, especially annoying defenders. At 600 momentum, he's able to parry them, no problem. And then 900 momentum. That's when he enters terminal velocity. He gets an increased dodge invulnerability window by 33.33%, and retaining all momentum abilities for 10 seconds. Now, while active, gaining charges instead pauses terminal velocity. So terminal velocity isn't just going to be around for 10 seconds. If you are aggressive, you're playing Quicksilver well, you'll have terminal velocity active for a long time. Especially in those longer fights that you'll see at the end of the video, you'll have terminal velocity active for essentially as long as you need it. And as long as the opponent has health, you'll have terminal velocity active as long as you're playing aggressive and as long as you're performing the rotation properly. So, the dodge invulnerability window, as I'll show right now, allows him to dodge certain special attacks like Mangog Special 2 that normally couldn't be dodged without that additional invulnerability. It also helps with just annoying specials in general. It makes them even easier to dex than they normally would be. So, that's the whole deal with Quicksilver's momentum, and then we have a few things for the special attacks. The special attack 1, on activation, 150 momentum charges. Of course, if you have the double momentum, that goes to 300. And the last hit refreshes all Wither and Whiplash. So if you're not too comfortable keeping up the Whiplash by dexing, you can always dex a few times at the start, get your Whiplash built up, and then spam special 1. There's a lot of different ways to play Quicksilver, and that is one of them. In terminal velocity, this will be important for later rotations. You gain what is essentially 100% attack increase and become unblockable. So the opponent is not going to be able to block your special 1, and if your whiplash stacks are detonating, then you can use this, gain the increased attack rating, and increase the damage of the whiplash detonation. We'll get more into that when we talk about the longer fight rotations. Special 2 inflicts a trauma debuff. We've seen trauma debuffs plenty of times before. Buffed Hulk has trauma, Red Guardian has trauma. It's just an additional 70% of physical damage, and this stacks up indefinitely, I believe. I believe you can have either indefinite stacks of trauma or it goes up to 3. I'm not sure if they took the cap away. That's something maybe I'll test later, but your goal is not to stack as many traumas as possible. Your goal is to use the special 2 with the trauma to increase the whiplash damage when you are detonating your whiplash or when you're building up your whiplash for a bigger detonation. And then the special 3. The special 3 only matters in longer fights for the most part. You can go for special 3s in more medium fights, but I've personally found that it's not necessary and it turns out to be a little bit of overkill. But the special 3 immediately gives you 900 momentum charges. So if you're at 0 momentum, you throw the special 3, you immediately enter terminal velocity. And for for every 120 charges gained above maximum, terminal velocity is paused for 1 second up to a maximum of 15. So ideally, and again, we'll talk about this in the long fight rotation, you want to build up to terminal velocity, get to a special 3, throw a heavy attack, and immediately use the special 3 after you've thrown the heavy. So you're gaining 1800 of momentum from the special 3, so you have a very long pause on your terminal velocity. And you can just go even further ham into the opponent if you have that pause, because you don't have to worry about baiting specials as much, at least in the interim, because you have that pause preventing you from losing terminal velocity. And additionally, with the special 3, if you're in terminal velocity already, which you should be if you are using it, you inflict a stun debuff, and your your whiplash ability accuracy is increased by 40%. So instead of having a 35% chance to inflict whiplash on basic attacks, you now have a 75% chance. And that is unbelievably helpful for the long fight rotation when you're stacking way beyond the normal whiplash limit. And yeah, one more thing to note about the special 3, I'll mention it again when we talk about the long fight rotation. The special 3 doubles the amount of whiplash you can apply to the opponent before they expire naturally. So normally it's 50, but after the special 3, if you're in terminal velocity, it goes up to 100. And you can utilize that by getting to a special 2 prior to 100, doubling them so it goes up to 180, 190, and then getting to that 199, doing the detonation from the special 1, and watching the numbers fly. So, enough talk. Let me show you guys a few fights, put the graphics on the screen for the rotations, and yeah, we'll wrap things up. The short fight rotation is very simple. You build up to a special 2, heavy if you need to get the slow debuff up from 300 momentum. If not, doesn't matter, won't matter, don't worry about it. Nice voice arc there, 7.2 out of 10. For those of you who know, you know. But you build up to a special 2, and the goal is to get to a special 2 and then perform a medium, light, medium combo. That's going to detonate all of your active whiplash immediately. But before they immediately detonate, you're going to throw the special 2. Why you're doing this is because the first hit of the special 2 applies the trauma debuff. So, you build up to your special 2, make sure you have a decent amount of whiplash. I would say anything over 20, 25 is what you should aim for the shorter fights like Battlegrounds and things like that. Get to your special 2, medium, light, medium combo, and then immediately throw your special 2. Don't medium, light, medium, parry special 2. Don't medium, light, medium, wait, then special 2. Medium, light, medium into a special 2. You are canceling into your special 2. So right as you apply the trauma debuff, the whiplash is going to expire. And then if the opponent is not dead, just build up some more whiplash, do the medium, light, medium, detonate, and they'll pretty much be dead. If you deal enough damage with the whiplash, you have, over 25, you should deal plenty of damage to kill the opponent without really having to worry about it. So let's take a look at some of those fights. Alright, first up here for the shorter fights, we have the 200,000 health Venom the Duck in 6.4. Just a vanilla Venom the Duck fight, just to show off what the average health pool is in Battlegrounds nowadays. It's much higher than 150, 160. That's why I'm not showing you the Deadpool fight. This fight is much more in alignment with what you're going to see in a Battlegrounds health pool when you're facing rank 4, rank 5 defenders pushing 200,000 health. And then I have another fight after this against a 7-star rank 1 defender, which again is roughly the meta that we're going to be dealing with. So I do actually mess up in this fight, and it shows that you actually can use your special 2 prior to detonating, as long as you haven't, of course, like I said, detonated your whiplash. You can use your special 2 and then detonate if you want. I don't recommend it. What I should recommend is what I had said in my little graphic there. Of course, he died from the whiplash detonation. He would have if it was before the special 2. It just so happened that I had to wait until after the special 2. But in this Chavez fight, this is a perfect example of how to use Quicksilver in a Battlegrounds situation. Also, you could translate this to Alliance War. Health pools are fairly similar there. They can get a little higher, so you might want to do the medium fight rotation for War specifically. But for this 7-star rank 1 Chavez, over 200,000 health, this is in Season 12 with the Decay meta. Quicksilver is a Decay attacker, but honestly, Quicksilver is fantastic for Chavez regardless because of his easy access to Wither. So it doesn't necessarily matter. Decay is not doing anything here. All it's doing is applying Withers on basics. And we don't gain Mystic Dispersion because we don't gain the Dex buff. So it's irrelevant. So this is essentially a normal Chavez in Battlegrounds. I just have to make sure I don't push her to Special 2. And if I do push her to Special 2, then I'm able to do the partial Dex out of it. Baiting Special 1s here. Haven't lost any health yet. I'm building up a decent amount of stacks of my Whiplash. I'm going to go for the Striker here. Medium, light, medium. Do the cancel. And she's dead. So those are just some short fight rotations. Let's move on into the medium fight. This is not my favorite one, but it is still useful. For medium fights, the whole goal with Quicksilver is to reach terminal velocity prior to your special 2. So in the short fight, as we had just seen, you don't worry about terminal velocity. You don't care about it. You build up to your special 2, you detonate with your medium, light, medium into your special 2, and most of the opponents are going to die. Medium fights, so anything more than 250,000, knocking on the door of 500,000-ish, somewhere in that range. You all know what medium fights are nowadays. You want a heavy to start because you want to build up the terminal velocity. And then once you reach terminal velocity, make sure you're at your special 2 before 50 Whiplash. This is critical. I made sure I threw asterisks on the before for the next rotation. I forgot to do it on this slide. But this is a critical part of the medium and long fight rotation. You need to reach your terminal velocity in either your special 2 or your special 3 before you're at 50 Whiplash. Because if you get to 50 Whiplash, they will automatically detonate. And you're not going to be able to do anything to stop them. So you need to reach your terminal velocity and your special 2, specifically the special 2. If you reach terminal velocity before 50, that doesn't matter. It's really the special attacks. That's what matters to not reach 50 Whiplash. So get to terminal velocity, heavy attack, dash back, build up your own momentum, do whatever you want to do, build up to special 2 before 50, and then throw your special 2 once you're in terminal velocity. Once you're in terminal velocity, and if you're under 50 Whiplash, you will double all of your active I say active as if there can be any other Whiplash. You will double all of your Whiplash on the opponent, and that means basically double damage, because you of course have the trauma from the special 2, increasing that damage even further. Now, if possible, try to throw a special 1 before the Whiplash expires, so you benefit from his increased attack rating. Like I mentioned earlier in the ability overview, if his special 1 is thrown in terminal velocity, he gains a practically 100% attack increase for the duration of the special 1, which means if Whiplash expires during the special 1, it benefits from the attack rating increase. So it's not necessary, it does a lot, but you can do medium fights, and you can even do longer fights without going for it. It just really helps if you can work it in. So let's see a fight here where we go for the medium loop. So, generic fight here, Winter Soldier, nothing too fancy. He has 550,000 health. It's a very good baseline for a generic medium fight. I could have gone into Act 7, Act 8, but I don't want to be benefiting from any attack increase or trap weapon nodes, anything of that sort. I just wanted a generic vanilla health pool to show off what the medium fight rotation looks like. When you're building up to terminal velocity, you can throw some special 1s if you'd like I just threw one right there, in order to gain more momentum quickly. But if you want to, you can just throw a heavy attack and do some quick dashbacks, because Quicksilver gains a significant amount of momentum from a dashback once you have the double momentum icon. It's 24 for every dashback. So if you dash back 10 times, you get 240 momentum. And 10 dashbacks is not a lot. So I'm not saying to just heavy and do 30 some odd dashbacks. That's not exactly what I'm recommending here. But you can work a lot of dashbacks in, like I'm doing right here. Dashing back, I can speak. Dashing back with no risk, building up to my terminal velocity, and then once I'm at my terminal velocity, boom, Winter Soldier gets a very substantial amount of whiplash. And as you can see, I wasn't able to go for the special one, but don't worry, you'll see the special one detonate in the longer fight rotation. So yeah, that was a pretty substantial amount of his health, basically 70% of it gone from just that single whiplash detonation without any additional attack increase. And we weren't even close to the cap without the special 3 terminal velocity bonus. We were in the 80s, I believe. So the damage just goes up and up from here. I get the detonate here, and he finishes Winter Soldier off. The long fight rotation, this is the one everyone loves to see. Big red numbers from the whiplash. The only real difference here is you're doing everything that you would normally do, but you have to throw a special 3 in the loop prior to going for the special 2. So, heavy to start, as per usual with the medium and long fights. Build up to your terminal velocity before 50 whiplash, and make sure you're there before special 3. Ideally, when you're going for the long fight loop, you want to be around 30 or so whiplash as you throw the special 3. Once you reach terminal velocity, heavy before the special 3 to gain the double momentum charge and gain additional momentum from the special 3, which will pause your terminal velocity, giving you more time to work through the fight, and you have some flexibility with opponents who don't want to throw special attacks. You have that pause, so you don't have to worry about terminal velocity falling off, and you don't have to just spam dashbacks to keep it paused forever. After the special 3, if you're in terminal velocity, the opponent will be stunned. I recommend going for a medium, light, medium combo, followed by a medium, and then just continue to combo as normal, as by that time the stun will be over. So a full 5 combo, and then double medium, and then just go right back into it. At this point, since you entered the special 3 in terminal velocity, your whiplash ability accuracy has been increased by a flat 40%. So now, essentially every hit that you deal is inflicting a whiplash. You have to be careful, because you want to make sure you get back up to your special 2 before 100 whiplash, because as I said, the special 3 doubles the limit. So you can go beyond 50, but below 100. So, once you get to your special 2, below 100 whiplash, throw it. Of course, make sure you're still in terminal velocity. It's going to be hard to lose if you do the heavy attack prior and you follow the rotation that I listed. Throw the special 2, and then your 80, 85, 90 whiplash will double to 180, 190, whatever number you had, it will double it. Quicksilver's actual max whiplash cap is 199. So at this point, you have 180, 190 whiplash. You could just let them expire and watch the red numbers fly. But like I said in the medium fight rotation, if it is possible, throw a special 1 before the whiplash expires. The only way you're going to be able to nail this is if the opponent throws a special attack, which will pause the whiplash detonation, and then you get back in, go for as many hits as you need to get to a special 1, and throw it. Because the whiplash will already be in the process of detonating, but every time you apply a new whiplash, it resets the detonation timer. So throw a special 1, get the detonate on 199 whiplash, and you're dealing over 1 million damage safely, for sure, over 1 million damage. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Here we are in Labyrinth of Legends, 1.5 million health on Old Man Logan. I have the white Magneto pre-fight just to make sure I don't run out of parry stuns. It's just for safety, for the sake of the guide. You're not going to need it. He never really needs it anyways, because stunning the opponent and playing a parry heavy game is not what you want to do. But as you see, as I previously displayed in the medium fight rotation, I'm taking my time to get a few dashbacks in. I'm not going crazy on it, but I'm getting 6 or 7 in at a time just to make sure that by the time I get to a special 3, I am at terminal velocity, and then I throw another heavy attack to gain the double momentum charge to increase the pause on my terminal velocity from the special 3. So I'm just doing basic combos, building up that power, building up to my special 3, ensuring that I have a watchful eye on how many whiplash stacks I have. If I'm getting close to 40, I try to back off. If I'm less than 20, I try to speed it up a little bit and lessen the amount of dash backs I do, so I increase my whiplash stacks while also increasing my momentum, but by a lesser amount. So what I'll typically do is, if I'm below 20, is I won't use the heavy attack for for the double momentum, build up to my desirable amount of whiplash. Like I said, anything over 30 is going to be your friend here. I think I'm in the 30s. I can't tell from the playback, but I know I'm in the 30s. I throw the heavy attack, I'm in terminal velocity, and then I throw my special 3. So from here, like I'm showing you, medium, full combo. I do a medium, medium, and then again, just start comboing again after that. Once the stun is done, you have time for a full 5 combo, and then a double medium, and then of course you just have to keep hitting the opponent because the stun will run out. But I got a decent pause on my terminal velocity, and now my goal is to build up to less than 100 whiplash, and then throw my special 2. And if I'm lucky, the opponent will throw a special attack after my special 2, which will pause all of the whiplash stacks, and then I am able to get a special 1 in and go for a huge detonate. So Old Man Logan actually went for it. He also went for a parry here. I was actually going to throw the special 1, but he went for a parry, so I was able to do this. 1.2 million damage whiplash, and that number is only going to go up with boosts, synergies, class advantage, all that jazz. So there's your long fight rotation. Let's wrap things up. This has been the Masters class video on Quicksilver. This is a long video, almost half an hour in length, but I really wanted to go in depth with his utility, reading over his kit, and then showcasing all of the different types of fights that he can take: short form, medium form, and long form. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this, masterclass, or the Masters class guide on Quicksilver. Please make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you haven't already. Share with your friends, share with your mama, as Dorky Diggity Dave used to say, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.